ready for this?
I am.
Okay. Betsy, you and I have been together a lot. 22 years, and have seen a lot of things we've been through. When we started working at Ricoh, back in the Stone Age, everything was done manually. Even the POs were typed with a typewriter. Then we went from doing everything manually to going onto a computer. I was so excited that you hated the thought of going and using it. You swore up and down you weren't going to do it, you hated it, you're not good on it, I'm not doing it, yada, yada, yada. All the pushing, pulling, and screaming didn't work. You survived it, and technology is amazing. I've also been through a few bosses as well. Beth Shapiro, Jim Shimazaki, Lydia Lorenzo, Tom Hughes, Kelly Stewart, Joan Pan, Mike Witz, and Jerry. And somewhere in there, you reported to me for a short time.
Yeah.
I think the best of our times were the early years, and every once in a while, we hit a good spot along the way with others too. Let me see, there were. And many, many office parties and dinners we had with our customers, workers, visitors from Japan and other departments, holiday parties. Never needed a reason to party, but it was always a great time. One thing about Jim, he knew how to throw parties. Whether it was sushi or Italian food, we never went hungry or thirsty, and we always had a song. We were the party group, everyone knew it, and everyone made sure to stop by our office. Back then, we were also allowed to smoke at our desks. One afternoon, there was smoke and the smell of plastic burning. It turned out Jim emptied his ashtray in the garbage can and didn't put the cigarette out completely. The smoke and flames were shooting out of the pail. Good thing the lunchroom next to us.
Then he started calling Betsy. I heard him. He couldn't say my name, he called me Betty, or something like that.
We had to open the doors for a while to get the smell out of the office. Then the little white mouse that was running through the office for a few days.
Chair.
Well, one afternoon he made his appearance again, and while you stood on a chair, Jim picked up the phone, called Diego, and screamed, "Mousy, Mousy!"
And the guy from Canada picked him up.
Canada happened to be there on a business trip and very calmly caught him, picked him up by his tail, and brought him outside, and that was the end of that. Harvey from Canada. Remember his last name. We were also allowed to have a drink after hours.
Yes, we were. In the office.
We had a liquor
In the
cabinet.
office. When I was in the region and you were in the back corner, I remember we used to do our drinking.
My
in the
credenza
office.
was a liquor cabinet. Every night around 5:30, we'd unlock it, and the five of us would pour a drink, have a cigarette, and discuss the events of the day.
You imagine?
You crazy bitches.
I remember those. How old were you? We had a blender in my credenza because we used to make.
45 minutes later or so, we get
Everybody
back
had a
to
bottle
work.
in this.
Usually it's
Roll back. Yeah, roll back.
45 minutes later.
Have a drink and discuss the day.
Got that.
Yeah, go on.
45 minutes or so later, we'd go back to work, usually till around 10 o'clock at night or so. And one day you had to go in Jim's office and asked me to come with you so you could explain something to him.
We were just
And
talking about that.
Yeah, he would understand and not get mad. After several minutes of you trying to explain, Jim went up to his whiteboard and tried to write something. For those of us who knew Jim, every once in a while, he'd pull this, "I don't understand English" look. But I could tell by his eyes he was lying. You got so frustrated that you jumped from your chair and grabbed a hold of him and started dancing.
I said, come on, Jim, let's dance. And he said to Sylvia, is she crazy or what?
His eyes bugged down, and he looked at me as if to say, "Please help." Meanwhile, I was hysterical laughing. And they moved us, so we had to get rid of a lot of stuff. One of the things were books books of very heavy, thick purchasing rules and regulations. They were old, and I've never seen anybody open them, touch them, anything. You found them in a cabinet. And you came over to me and said, what do I do with them? I said, get rid of them. Are you sure? Get rid of them. Okay? So now you go over and grab 2 books in each arm. And you bring them over to the empty dumpster. Now each book had to weigh about 10 pounds each. That's how big they were. You didn't want to let them go, and suddenly your body was half in the dumpster, and your legs were up in the air and dangling. Trying to get yourself out. And yell me.
Head first, straight to the dumpster.
All I could do was grab your legs and part of the dumpster, and Nicky grabbed the other side. We were so hysterical laughing, we couldn't move. Everyone on the floor heard us laughing, but no one knew what happened. They started laughing because we were laughing. And we laughed all the way back to the office. Then there was a lunch hour when I noticed the red dot on your forehead. Because I was sick, I didn't have the energy to ask you what happened. It turns out you were drying your hair in the morning, having a cigarette, and the cigarette got caught up in the wire, flew up in the air, and as you looked up, you got it right between the eyes. Remind you where you look. To this day, you go hysterical just thinking. Then came no smoking in the office. This was hard for all of us to do because we all smoked at the time. But for Betsy, it was especially hard. One day she lit up a cigarette, and after a few puffs realized she lit up at her desk. She quickly opened her desk drawer and put the cigarette out in the ashtray that she still had.
No way. I put it out inside the desk, there was no action. I slammed the drawer and said, because people are saying, I smell smoke.
I was working on the other side of the wall and said, what's that smell? You quickly came over laughing and told me what you did. Last but not least, there was QC. Everybody loved it, especially Betsy. However, the stories on that will have to be kept between us. They can't be shared, sorry. Betsy, it's been real, and I truly mean it. A real pleasure, a real honor, and a really great time, and I'm glad we got to share all of it and more. You have been a true friend of all of us, whose lives you touched. Maureen and Kay, as you can see, Betsy is our treasurer. We will soon give our treasure back to you. Please handle her with care. Please, everyone, raise your glasses. Betsy will soon be on the next chapter of your life. Please never forget this chapter. And all of us here, we wish you well. We wish you the best of luck and many, many years of happiness in whatever you do and wherever you may be. Good luck and goodbye.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.